und Hohen Beauftragten für die Außen- und Sicherheitspolitik über die Entwicklungen in der östlichen Nachbarschaft. Und ich darf in unserem Kreis recht herzlich die Vizepräsidentin der Kommission, Frau Mogherini, willkommen heißen. Und nachdem es wahrscheinlich das letzte Mal ist, dass ich den Vorsitz habe, wenn Sie zu uns sprechen, ist es mir schon ein Anliegen, Ihnen dafür zu danken, wie viel Zeit Sie in diesem Hause verbracht haben, trotz Ihrer globalen Aufgaben und wie Sie Ihre Arbeit auch im Verhältnis zum Europäischen Parlament ausgeübt haben. Herzlichen Dank für diese Arbeit und für Ihre Präsenz hier im Hause. Sie haben das Wort.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you also for your very kind words. Indeed, first of all, I was thinking, I think it's the third or fourth time I say goodbye to this hemicycle, either here or in Brussels. But indeed, it's a pleasure to be back still for the last session in which I will be in office. And just to reassure you, not only I'll take the debates today, tonight, but also the urgencies tomorrow and the votes tomorrow. So I'll be there until the very last moment I could. And that is indeed somehow a sign of dedication and the recognition of the work that this Parliament is doing, in particular on foreign policy. And let me also thank you for the opportunity with this debate to look back at these 5 years of work with our Eastern partners. I remember very well when I took office in 2014, that was the most important element of our foreign and security policy agenda for sure. And I can now proudly say that we have become closer as the European Union to all our Eastern partners, to all the 6 of them in different ways. And I believe we have managed to improve the situation of each and every of them in this partnership and through this partnership, even if, obviously, challenges remain. And I will try to go briefly through the achievements, the positive sides, but also the shortcomings and the things on which I see that we will still need to work a lot together. I believe that this positive path that we have followed has been possible because our work has been focused always on our greatest common interest that we share between the European Union and our Eastern partners, and that is our people. The people of Europe, whether they live inside or outside the European Union. Indeed, the 20 deliverables that we are implementing within the Eastern Partnership focus on the issues our people care the most about: jobs, energy security, education, strong civil society, independent media, things that are indeed on top of our citizens' agendas. In these years, we have put in place ambitious association agreements and free trade areas with Georgia, with Moldova and Ukraine. Their citizens can now also travel to the European Union without a visa when they come for business, for tourism, or to visit family. We have also achieved good progress in trade, energy, connectivity, or the digital sphere. At the same time, we need to do more in the fields of rule of law, judiciary, and fighting corruption. Earlier this year, we have celebrated the 10th anniversary of the Eastern Partnership together with our partners. And we decided to launch a broad consultation process on the future of this partnership. We have collected now more than 200 contributions coming not only from governments and civil society, but also academia, the business community, members of the European Parliament and other stakeholders. And I want to thank you for the contributions you have given us. So I am proud I can now leave to you and to my successor this huge capital of ideas, achievements, but also aspirations and dreams as a very solid foundation for the next Eastern Partnership Summit and for the future of our partnership itself. Of course, each of the 6 countries has a different situation and different aspirations too. So let me very briefly go through them. Ukraine has faced unparalleled challenges with Russia's violation of Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Since 2014, we have put together for Ukraine the biggest support package in the history of the European Union. We have invested more in Ukraine than in any other country in the world, and no other partner has invested in Ukraine as much as we have done. This has led to some very important tangible results. I would say that Ukraine today is a stronger, more resilient country than it used to be. The new government has taken a bold approach to reforms, as the people of Ukraine expect substantial change on the rule of law, on the fight against corruption and the prosecution of the bank fraud. In recent months, positive developments have also materialised on the security side, mainly thanks to Ukraine's constructive approach. And the Normandy 4 summit on the 9th of December is now an opportunity for substantial progress. Our priorities are the same as those of our friends in the Eastern Partnership countries, be it security, good jobs, good governance, or institutions that they can trust and rely on. This is also the case in the Republic of Moldova, where we have supported structural reforms to fight corruption, improve the electoral framework, and to ensure an independent and accountable justice system. Moldova has now a new government, and the need for genuine reforms remains. As always, the European Union is ready to support reforms in all possible ways. And as always, our support remains conditional. Our support is, and I believe will continue to be, focused in particular on reforms to fight corruption and vested interests, and in ensuring that state institutions preserve, or rather sometimes build, their autonomy and are not politicised. Moving to Armenia, the government has committed to substantial democratic reforms in line with our partnership agreement. In fact, Armenia considers the agreement with the European Union as a true blueprint for reforms, and we are proud of that. Our support to the reform process has increased after last year's political revolution, including to the ongoing justice reform, and I'm confident that this partnership will become even closer in the years ahead. With Azerbaijan, the work continues in order to finalise a new agreement. We want an ambitious agreement in line with international standards, one that ranges from human rights to the support of the diversification of their economy. We will also continue to work for the peaceful resolution of the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, encouraging and supporting dialogue at the highest level between Armenia and Azerbaijan. We fully support the mediation efforts and the proposals of the OSCE Minsk Group co-chairs, including through the work of our Special Representative. The European Union is born as a peace project. Building peace is our DNA, is our raison d'être. It goes to the core of who we are. We need, I believe, to continue investing enormously on this, as conflict has not yet disappeared from our continent. On the contrary, the security situation along the administrative boundary line with the Georgian breakaway region of South Ossetia has worsened in recent months. This is why we are increasing our EU monitoring mission's presence on the ground, because our support to Georgia's sovereignty and territorial integrity is not just a statement or a declaration of principle, it is the foundation of our daily concrete work on the ground. Georgia is a close and reliable ally in the neighbourhood, in our partnership, and this is precisely why we don't shy away when we see risks, as today we see the risk in the country of a backsliding on some important reforms in the rule of law area. Finally, on Belarus, the recent parliamentary elections were somehow a lost opportunity to deliver on international standards, and we have called on the authorities to implement electoral reforms before next year's presidential elections. You all know that we have divergences with Belarus, particularly on human rights. Yet I'm convinced the only way forward is to continue engaging and to finalise our partnership priorities. This would be the best way not only to work on our mutual interests, such as the economy or nuclear safety, but also to better address the human rights situation, which is so important for us. So putting people first was our approach throughout these 5 years, with all the 6 partners, as diverse as they are, with a differentiated approach, respectfully. And we've always focused on people and not on geopolitics. And I want to close on this, to stress once again something that I have discussed several times, not only with our partners in the east of Europe, but also to our interlocutors a little bit farther east, explaining clearly that our Eastern Partnership is not, and I believe will never be, against anyone. It's for. It's for our people. It's for improving living standards, including democratic standards, for a more peaceful European continent based on partnership and cooperation. And I want to close my short remarks thanking you and this Parliament for all the support you have given to our work with our Eastern partners, because in particular in this field, the work of the Parliament has been key in liaising with the national parliaments through your many delegations, through your many visits, and this has been a fundamental pillar in accompanying our work with not only the institutions, but also the societies of our 6 Eastern partners. Thank you.